Good. I'm okay. I have this. I just want to know what you would do in this situation. It's kind of happened to me recently.
Okay.
And so I don't know if this happened to you, and if it has, what did you do?
I'm ready.
And if it hasn't, what would you do?
Okay.
All right.
Let's hear it.
So there I was, having sex with this one girl that I was seeing at the time. I like to say having the coitus. It's funnier because coitus means they literally created a word for the act of a penis going inside of a vagina, and they call it coitus. So it's having the coitus with this young lady.
Having the coitus.
And we're in it, and, she's, because I'm doing my job appropriately, she's like making noises, making these faces.
Okay.
And I'm not saying I'm not enjoying myself.
All right.
But I'm looking at her, and I'm like, man, do I make faces too? Do I like make noises? Like, do I bark right now? Like, what do I say? What do I do? So, Carmel, I just want to know if A, like I said, this happened to you, and what did you do? And B, it's because it looks like it hasn't happened to you, or you haven't had that random epiphany. What would you do in that situation?
Interesting, because I don't know that I've not been. It's funny that you notice this is happening. Like, you were almost like not there.
Yes.
That's what I'm getting out of that. Like, you were just like, you kind of just lifted your body. Like, what are these two doing right here? Like you were just noticing what was happening. I don't know. I'm not.
Right.
I'm sure I've seen the faces before, but never thought that much.
Right. No, but you know what the thing is? It's not that it's
awkward faces. Were they like?
No, they're regular faces. Like girls kind of enjoying their moment. They're having their faces.
But you're thinking, should I reciprocate the facial expressions?
Yes. And I like it. Trust me. I wish I would have never had this epiphany. Because it ruins sex for me for the rest of your life. Because now I'm like in the back of my head, like, man, I like this girl, whatever. What mood do I do? What face she making? What am I gonna say now? What am I gonna? You know what I mean?
Was her eyes closed?
Yes.
So then you don't have to do anything.
But
see, that's the thing. If her eyes open, you're like, now it's really over. Now it's just like, what are you doing? So no, I think you should be just proud that she was. Maybe her eyes are closed for a reason. I don't know now.
No. I mean, I see, and I really hate to, and I would really hate to ruin it for the rest of the. I just want to know listeners and viewers that are going to do that. But next time there's certain times that happen, I just want to know what you do in that. And again,
now dude's going to be like freaking Alan. I'm sitting here watching for the faces.
I mean, right?
Instead of just being in the moment, because you're supposed to be in the moment. Like if that's happening, this is a special occasion,
right?
And like you should just be enjoying it versus. What was going on with you at the time?
I don't know. I maybe it was just we're in one position for way too long, and maybe that's what it was.
Okay, could be that.
But I don't know. That's what it could be. But
yeah, I've not experienced that or not had that thought like that. Yeah, I don't know what I would do.
Okay,
I think you should be happy that she did not notice you were noticing.
Yeah, I just don't ever want that moment to happen again. But I mean, welcome next time it happens. Now, see, but there's all those other things that happen, like during sex that you can't do as a man, in my opinion. So A, you can't be making more noises than her.
No.
And B, you can't be louder than her making those noises.
No.
And it's funny too, because when you make noises as a man, you have to grunt.
Of course.
Right, but you can't just like
You can't moan.
Right, you can't moan.
No, you can't squeal. No, you can't do anything that's feminine. That's just
as a male, of course.
Yeah, it's out.
Right.
But you can't be silent either, I guess.
Yes. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's like really interesting because
I think the male noises are ambient noises to the female noises.
Yes.
I think the female noises are definitely the prominent noise of the situation, and yours just accompany. Like she's the lead singer and you're the backup singer.
Yes.
If you're singing lead. You're not doing your job.
So this is pretty much like No Doubt and Gwen Stefani's show.
Yeah.
You're just part of the band.
Right. Yeah.
I got you.
You can't be her ex-husband trying to steal the limelight. Because that dude's out.
Oh man.
He's gone.
Man, as here's another one too. And again, I don't know what's weird with me and thinking about these random moments.
Okay.
But how about when you're having sex with a girl and she queefs? Has that ever happened? I just want to know, has that ever happened to you?
I think that's happened to everybody.
Okay.
That's
what is the proper way to go forward from there on out?
Well, I think again that's on the lady.
That's,
Like
okay.
if she wants to react to it like, oh my God, then you just play, ah, you're funny. But you can't take the lead on the reaction.
Right.
Because if you play it like it's funny, she's gonna be embarrassed. If you play it like it didn't happen, she's gonna be like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Either way you go, like let her determine how to react to that and just meet her.
So you're gonna
like,
let her take the lead.
If it's like if she just doesn't act like it happened, you do the same.
All right.
Like,
So,
okay.
all right. So I have something to say about that because it's funny you mentioned that because I'm not gonna lie, I might have the maturity of a 15-year-old going through puberty,
okay.
but I'm on the other way around. Every time that's happened, I am not gonna lie, I have stopped and giggled. I just giggled. Not even like manly laugh. Like it's like a like every single time. I can't help it. It is what it is. And I feel terrible afterwards, but it's me. I mean, you know me. I just love finding joy and laughter in every situation.
And what does she do?
Majority of the time they get embarrassed. But on the same token, when you're with somebody like me, you got to expect those embarrassing moments, and me just trying to make it into a comical moment. And every single time, I swear to God, I just giggle, and I get it. Nobody has real control of that, and it's just kind of like it is what it is.
I can't remember many times that ever happening, but I definitely feel like, I didn't giggle. I can just giggle like, oh, like that's, I think it'd be over after that. But yeah, again, it's you. So if someone's gonna be with you, they gotta.
But I mean, would it really be over though if you start giggling? Because dude, you're still in there. I don't know if any man in the middle of having sex and enjoying it.
I'm not saying it would be over for me. I just would think it'd be over for her. But again, I can't remember that happening. But like, okay. So then the other one is, what if she didn't queef, but it was the other thing? It would have she actually farted. Like, cause then is that worse?
I think that is worse. But I mean, it's like, it's tough because I mean, all right, I guess I'm just the butt end of all these stories right now. But I mean, I farted and it stopped.
Oh, you farted?
I farted before.
Oh, okay.
And
that's yeah.
Dude, I mean, as you know, I used to be married in our honeymoon. I farted during sex. That was one of the funniest things I remember about it.
On the honeymoon.
Wow. But it's a funny story.
Then she knows what she's getting into.
Yeah, I mean, we ended up getting a divorce. Maybe it's because of that honeymoon flirt. But I mean, who knows, right?
Is that a red flag from the jump? I don't know.
That's a red flag. I married this guy, but he just farted during sex.
That's out the gate.
So now I just want to know, if that happened to you, how would you handle that? Do you keep going or do you do what?
I have a very strong aversion to anything poop related. Bathrooms, farts, any of that.
Okay.
Like if I had a semblance of flatulence in my system, like it is a ironclad lock. It is not coming out anytime before, during, or after I'm around said lady.
So,
like there's people who have never known me to fart.
That's actually really, you know what? That's
like they will tell you, Carmel does not like farts. Like, of course, it's happened. I've done that before. But seriously, maybe my mom has, you know, when I was married at one time, maybe once my ex-wife heard it. Like, just not. No, I can't. I don't like bathrooms. I don't like none of that crap.
Wow.
Literally crap.
Wow.
So that's not ever happened during coitus.
So you're just so what I'm hearing right now, Carmel Humphreys, and this might be whatever. So you're just having sex. Constipated sex with Carmel Humphreys?
I will internally explode. My liver, pancreas, all my internal organs will explode before I fart.
Oh my God.
It's just me. That's just not happening.
Oh my God.
I don't know if it's pride or I couldn't handle the embarrassment or whatever.
You know, for me, like, cause obviously as a man, you're kind of judged by not only performance, but as your stamina for having sex. One of the stupid random sadistic thoughts that I have when I'm having sex so I can last longer is farts, things, baseball, basketball. I think about all these other stats that nobody whatever. Cause you know, you're just sitting there. I mean,
I've heard that before. Yeah.
I look at Carmel. All right, you don't fart. I get it. You're well articulate, everything. You can't be perfect.
No, of course not.
There has to be moments like where you're just like, you get in there hot and heavy, girl's moaning, she's not queefing, you're doing the coitus, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're like, holy shit, this is about to go. This is I'm about to like let this go.
Sure.
So what do you do? I just want to know what you do in those situations. Maybe I need tips. Maybe I need pointers.
Well,
maybe I do.
Well, one is your overthinking thing. You're way too much into what's going on. I guess I'm into what is happening. You're into like the operation of it all. Because I mean that like I've always heard that, like counting sheep, baseball stats, count backwards, and I'm like, if I'm thinking about that, I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing. So I don't. I think I've tried it once or twice, and it was more confusing. I'm like, what am I thinking about? Like shooting percentage right now? Like this, nah. I want to enjoy what's happening. Like I always felt like because some women are like they want you to be into it, right?
Present,
right? Be present. So like if it's over quick, I know a lot of dudes be like, well, that's on you, girl.
That's on you.
It's too good. So I'm like, I don't know, but like I don't know. That's. Well, so that's my one tip.
Right.
Is like stop overthinking it.
Okay.
You're analyzing facial expressions, like stamina, baseball stats. Did I fart? Did you fart? What's happening here? Does that look right? Okay, here's another thing.
Okay.
Have you performed in front of a mirror?
Of course.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. And that may be my vain self. But those are one of those things where it's like, all right, did Alan no carb it for the week? Like, did he do his cardio this week? Does he look good in the mirror?
Like, okay,
it looks like a horseshoe. How's my biceps looking? Whatever.
Yeah.
And that might just be my vain self. It is what it is. But you know, to go back to your overthinking, but that might be what it is sometimes. Is I'm so present into it. I'm like, oh crap. Oh, baseball. What are your faces making? You know, it might be one of those things that just reciprocate from one another.
Overly present?
Maybe. Okay. I mean, as any human being that actually enjoys that process, I love it. I love doing it. I don't know who doesn't.
Yeah, who doesn't? Right.
So therefore, I'm just like, maybe that's what it is, and maybe I just like it too much. That might be my own problem. It's fine. I can admit that. Like,
liking it too much.
You got some of that coitus on there. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it also could be the women you're with. You know, have you looked at that dynamic?
I have not.
Like. Because some women, you know, in discussions I've heard don't believe they need to perform. Like, they're just there.
Okay.
Other women are like, no, I'm going to turn him out. Like, that's her thing is to make him release, like to make him come. That's what they want. So It's like, is it the dynamic of the woman that's causing you to overthink, overanalyze, be overstimulated into the situation?
Right. You know, it's I think that goes both ways, right? So for me as a man, when I do have sex with a woman, my goal is to get her there.
Of course,
right?
Yeah.
And obviously that I don't care what I got to do to get there. I got to foreplay, whatever, put on some John Legend or whatever she likes to listen to, like have her read some of those books
Not John
or
Legend.
something like that.
Not John Legend.
But you know, it's my job is to get her there as a man because I'm going to get mine. In my opinion, I'm going to get mine no matter what.
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, though, I have had times where I actually didn't, and for whatever reason, I might be drunk. I might be tired. This might be like the 5th time in one night. Like, dude, I can only do so much, especially, you know, in my 30s now.
Right.
25. But every single time that's happened though, women feel like they didn't do their duty. But it's like on the same token, you're like, man, they don't like feeling that they didn't get you off, but also they're also not doing something at the same time.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I think you also don't want a woman who's trying to prove something. Like, I'm good at something. Let me show you. Because I'm like, I always think, well, how did you get good at that?
Yeah.
It's like, well, what did you do? Like, where have you been? Like, did you practice this for like years with how many people? You know, like, I don't want you to be good at that. You know, so it's like, because I've heard women say that, oh my God, I got this over here. I'm like, how do you know you got that over there? Like what? Right. How many people have you been through like statistics and like, okay, he rated me a C and a B and I've been working on it. Like that's.
You know what's
that's not good.
You know what's crazy about that? I remember there used to be an app back in the day where it would garner all this Facebook information, and then it's kind of like how Tinder is now, except people are allowed to leave reviews on you as if you're like a Yelp in yourself.
Wow.
So could you imagine every single time you messed around and hooked up with somebody, they can rate you on Yelp. 5 stars, 4.5 stars. How was the service? Customer satisfaction?
That would be interesting.
That would be.
And scary. Because, like, if you're getting all 5-star ratings, like, your page gonna be blowing up. But then, like, do you want more? Like, I don't know that you want more customers. Like my business is good right now. Like, I mean, I'm straight. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, I would hope, but I'm not very into, like, the whole hooking up even aspect or Tinder and that. Like, I don't understand that whole dynamic. So, like, if you are being rated, like, for whatever reason, it existed. But you said it did exist at one time.
It wasn't with regards to sex. It was just more of
just
like,
as a person dating, how it was.
Right.
But maybe it did have some sexual connotations.
Well, I mean, I think you can make comments about it.
Okay.
Like, this guy has like the typical woman hates a guy, like he has a small penis.
Sure. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, don't you want to find someone that you're compatible with and that you lock in with, right?
Right.
So, like, if you're on that, I guess you're expecting to find more customers. I guess you want more business. I couldn't fathom, like, having to, like, weed through people. Like, because, I mean, some of the women are probably going to be atrocious, right? And you don't know that.
You're talking about the ones that are rating you.
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Because then, like, I'm saying, because then someone sees your page and they're like, okay, like, how do you trust what she's saying?
You know what it could be? How about this? Let's say they make that. And the only way that they can rate you is you give them this, like, QR code, kind of how it is now. Or, like, hey, you can only rate me if you have this password that I set up just for you, right? But I feel like that actually would be beneficial. Now, could you imagine if every single time you just, like, mess around with a woman, she gives you honest feedback about, like, you could have done this better. You could have done that better. Could you imagine?
Yeah, so then my thing is, what is the goal for you getting this feedback? Is it for that final person you're with to be like, okay, I worked on all these things in my life and I have this to offer you? Or you're like, no, the next girl, I'm just going to kill it. And I'm just going to keep killing. Like, you're just trying to slay every girl that comes through.
Right. Well, there's one of a couple of things on this, right? So first of all, I think it should be. Like, I think you should, like, hey, just to let you know, this, and this. And trust me, I would want to know about that. Like, what am I lacking? What did I not do enough for you? Obviously, every person is different.
Yeah.
Obviously, everything else. But that doesn't mean you can't get an opinion of what you did, right? That's number one. But number two, sometimes how I rate that performance and how I rate that is if I get a call back, or if I actually, like, get a text back or whatever. Because obviously, if I didn't do my job, who the heck wants to give me a call, right?
Right.
Like
they're not going to call you back to tell you how bad it was.
Right. Like 3 minutes into coitus, I queefed, Alan was out. And he's just done, And
coitus is the worst word.
It is the best word.
Oh my God.
Ever since I found that out, like when I was 14 or 15, I forgot what it was. I'm like, I'm never letting this word go.
Like, seriously, like, I'm sure it's some Latin derivative of something, but, like, we couldn't come up with something better than that.
But I mean, yeah, they made a word to describe the act of a penis going inside of a vagina, and they call it coitus. And I just love saying it again because I don't like saying sex. I don't like saying, intercourse.
Because it's funny because, like, even the word sex itself is like it's an interesting word because, like, we say sex as the act, also sex as gender. It's also scientific and very just, like, colloquial at the same time. So, like, saying coitus is almost like no one likes to hear the word vagina and penis. They're not cute words.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
But coitus is kind of funny. Like, it's kind of like I wouldn't mind hearing coitus every now and then, but, like, sex is just like it.
And you know what the thing is too, and I think this is my slight angle and how I approach social endeavors. When you say coitus, you can also kind of sound like you're kind of educated in it. Like, oh yeah, so hey girl, you want to go with me and engage in this act of coitus? Like, what is that? Like, let me tell you, he must be a lawyer. He must.
Coitus, okay.
Like, holy crap. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. But anyways, you know what I mean? That's like one of those. He didn't. Anyways.
Right.
Little excerpt. But
I think it's funny. I think our whole society has, like, really changed its view on sex so drastically. I don't know if it's social media. I don't know if it's just movies or entertainment in general. But, like, some people talk about sex almost like it's like a handshake. Like, it's just so common and every day, whether it's in their life or just talking about it. I'm just like, whether it's in music or stuff like that. I'm always thinking, like, that's so personal to me. Like, I've always been like that about sex. Like, it's such a personal thing. So, like, even if I'm having a rating system, I'm like, that would be crazy for someone to talk about and act like that just to everybody.
Like, who is comfortable enough to just talk about
Right.
their genitalia to everybody?
It's just nuts to me. But then, like, you look at, you know, whether it's sex tapes that have been leaked, or like, you know, people talking about hooking up on, you know, their Instagram or Twitter or Facebook pages. It's just like, I instantly have the visual, like, oh, that person was doing that with that person. Like, oh my God. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just the prude in me. I'm just like, you know, church boy all my life, and just like, it's just crazy to me. But it's just nuts how that's such a common everyday language now. But at the same time, for some people, like, you know, it is still kind of crazy to mention and talk about sex that way. At least I'm one of the few, but like, everyone on social media is just like so freaking every day, and it's getting younger and younger, which is really nuts. Like, young kids just talk about it like nuts. Because I used to think, like, you know, with hooking up used to be just like, okay, like heavy petting and kissing. Now hooking up is like, you know, they had sex.
Right.
Some people still like it's just kissing and making out, but like when you hear kids talking about it, oh yeah, I hooked up with such and such. I'm like, are you serious? Like, wow. And just like that, like nothing. I'm like, okay, that's just nuts to me.
Yeah, I wonder if though that's like a product of social media. I wonder if that's a product of like maybe porn is more accessible, so therefore it's whatever. Because I mean, some of the atmospheres that I've been in and everything like that, porn stars are just everyday people, like just like anything else.
Yeah.
And not only that, but they're also mainstream so much where people would recognize porn stars, even though like porn used to be such a taboo thing that people don't watch. But now people can recognize porn stars. A lot of them are famous,
right?
You know, like Ron Jeremy, Jenna Jameson. I could make the list of things that they're so mainstream.
Yeah,
because you kind of used to be like a comical topic to talk about and taboo, like, oh hey, watch porn's kind of funny. But now more people, like we're saying, they're more open about their sexuality.
Yeah,
they're more open about everything else. So now they are saying these things actively.
Yeah,
and now it's like so. Back in the day, when I was younger, right, and I imagine, I mean, the demographic used to be where, like, if a guy would sleep with a girl, it'd be a pimp, like, oh my God, dude, you got it, blah blah blah. The girl would automatically be, you know, labeled as a slut, so to speak, for lack of a better term. And I'm sorry if I offended somebody with that, but it has changed so drastically. We're now at the point where it's like everybody hooks up with each other, and it's non-exclusive,
right.
Completely
a lot of non-exclusivity out there,
right?
Yeah.
And now, I mean, back in the day, you know, it'd be like, oh well, you know, I need to make this guy wait three dates before he actually has sex. Now people are hooking up on the first date. Now I just want to know, Carmel, what's your take on that?
See, again, I have a very old school approach. I think like, if I'm in that situation where someone gives me access to their body like that, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's almost a commitment of sort that should be there. I know for a lot of women that's not. I like having sex, and you're here, and I feel comfortable with you, so that happens. I've not been around that. I've not had that experience, but I know that's a thing. And I know a lot of women are very like empowered by that. Like, no, I just like having sex, and I do what I want. I'm like, okay, cool. I know that. Not saying I am going to partake in that with them, because that's not my thing.
Right.
And that's not to be judgmental to them or not or whatever, but I just feel like, you know, it's still a personal, intimate situation, no matter what. I mean, when you're in that situation and it's happening, like, I know a lot of studies, because I used to work for a company called Awareness Inc., and I used to go into schools and talk about sex, drugs, rock and roll, friends, all that stuff, whatever, just, you know, the general growing up phases. And one of the talks I used to do was on the chemicals and just the situation the body goes through in dating, making out, kissing, and all that up until sex. And then one of the very like compelling stories I would talk about, or one of the stats I would give them, was I would talk about this chemical called oxytocin. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I have.
So it's called the bonding hormone, a bonding chemical. And so it's the same chemical that's released when a mom is breastfeeding her child for the first time and they bond. It's the same chemical that's released during sex. So, like, when I used to do that talk, you could see kids like brains and minds. Oh my God! So if you that's why you never forget your first, because that's the first time that hormone came out, other than the time you were, feeding with your mom. But now you're an adult or a young adult, and now that hormone's coming out again. So I think I've always felt like I wouldn't want to lose that sensitivity to bonding to someone.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I'm going to have sex with someone, there's got to be a connection for me. There's got to be some kind of like hard line. Like I feel this person, not just because I'm attracted to them, but there's something like genuine about them that I'm connected to.
So there's like real depth.
Yeah,
it's just not on the surface.
Oh, no, it has to be.
Oh, man. Yeah. So what you're saying is that when every time you're sleeping with them, that's the only woman you're sleeping with at that time.
Yeah.
And you're not just like messing around.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, because I was married for a long time, so almost 18, 19 years before I got divorced. And then like that for me was the only sexual experience I had even before that. Mm-hmm. So after I got divorced, like I had dudes who were like, "Oh, Carmel, you about to go crazy now." Like, because I was with someone for so long. And they're like, "You could just go out there and just get it." And, and I was like, nah, but I don't want to. Like, it wasn't like a thing for me. And it's still not. So it's like I've never been like, yo, let me just sleep with a bunch of chicks because I could,
Right.
And so, yeah, it's always about connection to me. So it's never been a thing like just hit it and quit it, or just like, just slide in and slide out. I don't get that whole mentality.
For what my experience is, right? And you're right. Every I'm not trying to say like I slept with a bunch of women, but what I'm saying is the times that really matter are the ones I really had a connection with. Mm-hmm. But the 98% of the women that I've slept with, they didn't start off with, I'm just going to hit it and quit it. No, it's like I'm enjoying my time. It went into that. Mm-hmm. And after that, you determine if you really want to see them again or not. Mm-hmm. And funny thing is, we had the same thing. I was, didn't have sex before I got married. My first wife, my only wife, ex-wife, is one of Alyssa V Card too. And then as soon as I got divorced, I don't know if it's like because I knew I was going on deployment or anything like that. I just went ham, and I was just like, okay. And the thing is, and I don't know if this worked in my favor, but I knew I was not emotionally available because I just got out of a divorce, a pretty tough divorce, and I knew I was going on deployment. Okay. And so my mindset was, well, I'm just going to keep it pushing, keep it going. Right. And then it's weird because, everybody wants what they can't have. Mm-hmm. So now the women I were meeting, they knew that, but all of a sudden they wanted me more. Right. And it was, that's interesting. And it was at a point where, me and my boys, what we used to do actually, because again, back in the day, we'd be like, hey, yo, I smashed this, I smashed that, whatever. We used to be in group chats. Okay. And we used to do this thing called *7. *7. So we would text all of our boys *7 if we smashed something new, and it would be like a text just because it's like, let's say you're with your girl and I text, I'm texting Carmel *7. Right? You look over at your phone, your girl looks over your shoulder, like what *7? Oh, Alan must have just butt texted me or butt down, right? But then I was just like, oh crap, Alan, wow, okay, and yeah, that's how it used to be, and that's how my mentality was for so long, but. When I was, when it was happening, so first it was in New Mexico. I was going to school, got divorced while I was still in college. So I did the college life for like a year. Okay. And then I was stationed in San Diego, and I went on back-to-back deployments. So in the middle of that, we were just going ham. And it was, not only were we going like ham, me and my boys, but both my boys, remember, we talked about in the first episode, which is, I re-enlisted for $75,000. Well, two of my really close friends re-enlisted for $75K each. They did a tax-free thing like I told you, and they too had the mindset of, ham, YOLO, whatever. Right. So we were the three amigos running around San Diego getting bottle service like Monday through Sunday. And there's something to be said about you get these three good-looking dressed guys always getting bottle service, and now we have this aura about us, and women they were just flocking to us. Sure. All because we had this social dynamic edge, and such as superficial and shallow as bottles. Right. And like 10 years later, I'm like, God, I could have bought myself a lot of nice things and invested into something nice. Yeah. I mean, I would never trade my stories for it. But,
looking back, hindsight, sure.
Right. Yeah. And then there was a lot of things that went along with that. Like, so because of that, I mean, I understood and I started developing the concept of confidence. As soon as, as soon as we were out, because, you see that a lot in like the hookup society. Whenever people go out to bars, they go up looking to hook up with somebody. And man, I tell you guys, women know. And people just know in general. If you want something from somebody or they want something from you, just naturally get defensive. So good luck trying to get that. But if you approach and just let's have a good time, let's whatever, people open up so much more.
Yeah.
And I mean, it got to a point where I was even like egotistical on certain things. But I mean, and it's funny because I remember the very first time that this entire thing spun off for me in San Diego. So New Mexico got a small taste. I did that just after my divorce. But in San Diego, I was kind of whatever about it. Still trying to be like, you know, trying to be nice, try to be up cordial,
try
to like,
be a gentleman a little bit. Yeah,
trying to, right?
Sure.
And I'm not saying I'm not, you know, I'm not a gentleman. I'm just not a pushover like I used to be.
Sure.
And so like I remember this Tuesday. We were out. I was wingmanning for one of my boys, and like this girl, I was just trying to gauge interest, trying to get conversation because my boy likes her friend. And finally, she's just doing the standoffish crap. And I'm like, you know what? You are not pretty enough to be talking to me and treating me like this. And I left. Crazy.
Did you tell her that?
I told her that to her face and I left. But guess what ended up happening? Star 7 by the end of that night. Star 7 at the end of that, all the way after that. And it was nuts. And ever since that, I've just, I don't know. It's not that I like always speak my mind, but I speak my mind all the time now.
Sure.
And but people like that though. Women in general like that. Like, oh my God, I can treat him a certain way and he's going to stand up for himself. Like, oh my God.
That's funny because like, it's also, because the whole, in that environment, club scene, dating scene, there is a sense of like, the thing that you can't have, you know, or like, you know, it's so cat and mouse like that's, and also that's why I not have been into that whole scene because I'm like, I don't play these games. I just like either I'm having a good time with you or I'm not. Like I don't want to be like, but that's cool that you went through that and experienced it that way because you saw like, oh, that's how that is. That's how, you know, it works.
Right.
So like it does, and I guess in an indirect way create, you know, confidence. I think for me, like, my dad was like, my dad was one of my original players. Like, that was my dad. Like, his whole swag about him, even up to like 75, he just had this swag about him that, like, he was dating like a Mexican beer model. He was like 30. He was like 65. But he didn't look it. You know, he looked like this at 65. And he was just so, like, just debonair and he was cool and just so, like, I don't care. Like, I literally don't care. Like, I just got what I got. You know, I got money. I got my, you know, nice house, got cars. Like, and he didn't dress up. He was just very, like, low-key cat. Like, he would have parties at his house. He would never just, like, you know, whatever. And I think women would just flock to him.
So he just had that swag.
He had it. Like, he had this aura about it. And I always noticed that. And I think that's part of the reason why my mom, like, you know, broke up because women just, like, lined up just because he was this cool cat. And that's kind of where I got. Not like that whole arrogance or like that kind of confidence, but I just think I saw that. Like, okay, like you don't have to try that hard, you know? Like if you see someone you like, and this is another thing, I've had conversations with women I've worked with or partnered with on different projects. There's this thing where a lot of guys are persistent. And I've heard so many women say, oh yeah, you know, I gave him a date because he was so persistent. And it's always been like, really? Because I feel like if I approach you and there's like or hindrance or like okay, I'll move on. Like no big deal. Like no harm, no foul. Because I saw that. My dad didn't chase women, so I'm like, why would I do it? Like if someone likes me, they like me.
Right.
If they don't, they don't. And I'm cool with that. So when I hear people are like persistent and like getting married, like I know a lot of women who married a guy they didn't like, but because he was persistent, they gave him a date, and that date turned into like a marriage. And I was like,
off of persistence.
And so I just was so flabbergasted by that I've asked a lot of women. So like, what is it about the persistence? Because like if you say no the first time, why the 8th time? Why yes? And a lot of them said they were curious as to why he was so into them. Like the curiosity of that this person will not take no. Like why are they so into me that they give him a date?
But you know, I feel like that if they're getting asked an 8th time, they're opening themselves to be asked an 8th time.
That's the thing I said too. Like I would be like, yo, by the 3rd time, if you're like saying no, you're not blocking dude. You're not like,
right.
You know, a sexual harassment report at work or something like that. But, you know, maybe like they're just too nice. So you need to be like, if you really don't like the cat, you know, make it clear. So maybe you're not. Maybe that's more of like his stick-to-itiveness showed that there was some interest and she was just playing coy. I don't know. I just know if I got to know the first time, I'm out. I just like, I'm okay.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like, and I feel, there's so many, I don't want to say options, but there's so many fish out there in the sea.
Right.
Where if one person doesn't like me, the next person will.
Exactly.
And if that person doesn't, just keep it pushing.
Exactly. Because I'm like, if maybe that's because you already recognize that there's not energy, there's not a vibe here, and I don't.
Right.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it. And thank you for the feedback.
But wow, you went hella choice on me right
I
now.
did, right?
You did just a hella choice.
Feedback, right?
Shout out to choice real quick.
For real.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But I think that goes along with, I don't know. I guess for me, I've just, obviously if something's worth having, it's worth working for and worth everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But also with that being said, why am I going to try to convince somebody to validate me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really confident in myself. I feel like I'm head on shoulders. I'm doing well for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I need to impress you? You should already just know who I am in my presence. And if you don't value me in the same light that I do myself, I'm not going to sit there convincing you.
Yeah.
Because then now I'm putting you on a pedestal. And in the social dynamic of how it is, you're naturally looking down because you're allowing me to do whatever.
Right.
But,
And I also think if I'm convincing you, I'm creating a false image of myself.
Amen.
Because then once you get in, let's say it moves further, there's a connection and you're into the relationship and now she's disappointed because you're not the convincing Alan. Yeah. You're not just normal Alan now.
Right.
Like, who farts when he has sex? So it's like, oh my God, this guy is freaking just flatulent city. Like, where's the freaking romance at? But like, so yeah, why put on a show? Like, be you. And like that, I think will determine if there's really a connection there. Like, I really will find a person that's interested in me and like, okay, cool, there's genuine mutual attraction here. That's what I think. That's why I say if someone's like not into me, it's not genuine mutual attraction. Okay, cool.
Right.
Like, I don't take it as an insult. I think a lot of guys do. Like, oh, how's she not into me? I'm like she's just not, and that's cool. But they get them. That's the thing. It's like they get these women through persistence. I'm like, what? And it's I want to say at least the last 9 women I've talked to about this subject, and not people I've been into or romantic, just random women I've talked to. I remember one time at work, there was 4 women, and we're at in the lunchroom, and it came up, and I remember asking, "Hey, would you guys date a guy who was just persistent?" All 4 of them, like, yeah, I'd give him a chance.
Wow.
I'm like, okay.
It's funny because from my experience, I've seen more women after like they kind of withdraw themselves. The guy tried, no. All right, leave whatever. You see him posting great things on Instagram, seeing great Facebook status. You see him doing well for himself. Like, hey, how you doing? And it's happened to me a lot where I try to go after a girl. She knows I'm interested. She says no. Then 6 months later, hey, what you up to? How you been? Hey, I just saw this Instagram post. Hey, I just saw you were in New York.
Yeah, where's my invite?
Where are you at?
Right.
And I've seen that. And so, I'm always on the narrative, always putting not your best foot forward, but the honest foot forward.
That's it.
Right?
The honest foot
leave
forward.
that impression, right?
Yeah.
I think like every endeavor, regardless if it's a hookup or anything else, it should always be positive.
Yeah.
You should always create some type of laughter, create some type of fun out of it. And if she's not into it, whatever. You had a good moment.
Yeah.
You interacted with somebody. Again, as soon as you start approaching those social endeavors in expecting something else, you're just leaving yourself to get disappointed.
100%.
And it's really selfish in general,
And so then that also, and I also look at the flip side of that with women who are persistent. Like, because there's a whole like sugar daddy, culture where women are looking for a man to support them. So like, if a woman is like just on you heavy, and you're like, well, she's kind of cute, whatever, like, would you give a woman a chance that you wouldn't like initially attracted to because she was persistent?
As long as she is, and I hate to be shallow, but physically attractive, and she's cool personally.
So let me address that. Let me address that because like there's always this thing that's shallow.
Okay.
Right. But like, is it really? Like, if you find someone attractive or you don't, like, why is that a problem? Like, I get like someone's personality could be attractive, but like initially, like, you see them first. Like, people like a Porsche because it looks nice, Yeah. And then you get in the car and you feel, oh, it drives well. It's nice. It's comfortable. You don't get in the car and then think about it, right? Like you see something first. Even women, I know people say men are more visual than women. I don't know if that's true, but like, because women buy nice dresses, right? They buy nice shoes. They'll actually buy good-looking shoes that feel like crap, but they'll wear those shoes because they look nice.
Like, girl, look at my red
bottoms. Right, exactly.
Girl.
So it's like, okay, we all are attracted at some point by the look. Now, someone could just be engaged in conversation and they become attracted to them because they happen to get into a conversation with them, maybe at a work thing or just they're all both at a party and just conversation just, strikes. But like, I don't know why it has got to be considered shallow. If like, I want someone to be attractive that likes me. Like, what's wrong with that? You know,
I agree. I'm going to change that. And you're right. You know, because it's just like, for me, it's like I watch how to eat, I work out, I put outfits together. When I wear a suit, I wear a really nice suit, and you're right. I feel like that isn't shallow. It's just human nature.
Right.
And especially
100%.
Especially today's age. But, yeah. But to go along with that initial one, it would, again, should have to be physically attractive.
Okay.
Would have to be mentally engaging. That has happened to me a couple times where, like, I wasn't attracted and a girl just started talking, like, wow, you have a dope personality. Like, physically, I would never just go out after you from the beginning, but you persisted yourself into my life. Yeah. And not only that, but you have spoke into me. And like, holy crap.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what? That has happened. That has happened. And that has happened. But
and that's interesting because I think that's almost like the connection that I'm talking about. Like if someone you connect with maybe happens and you weren't planning on it. Like you didn't see it coming. And then like, it's just, oh wow, I'm thinking about this person. Like I like when they said this. I like how I felt when they said this. I like how I feel when I'm around them. And maybe it had nothing to do sexually. So then the sex part almost comes, as a byproduct of just the connection. To me, that makes more sense to me. Now, if ideally it all happens together, right? But sometimes it just, for circumstantial reasons or whatever, it doesn't. But then, it's a cool little perk if it does.
Right.
Yeah.
Then the organic chemistry, right? Because
100%.
I think everybody when they go out, I don't think exactly going out and meeting somebody, but if you're like, hey, if you're to meet somebody, what would you have? And you have this like criteria, like I just detailed out, right? Well, I want them to be good looking or whatever. Yeah. But obviously things happen. You meet people that kind of make you change whatever dynamic you have that you're attracted to.
Move your priorities up around in your categories. Yeah.
Right. And then that attraction just becomes organic.
Yeah.
Right. And things like that.
So then like, because when you go out, club, party, dinner, whatever, alcohol is often, involved. So like that changes a lot. like your judgments, like your perspective, your views. Like, have you been in a relationship where you met them and you were slightly inebriated?
Yes. And
then how was the relationship after when you were like sober?
Well, if you think about it too, it's like, think about how many first dates you went on, right? And I know you're not a big heavy drinker, but I mean, every time I've been on a date, bought a bottle of wine, have a couple of drinks, relax yourself or whatever. Yeah. I mean, it all depends. I think regardless of how wasted or drunk I might be or inebriated might be, I mean, for me at least, I have some type of conscious awareness of what's going on. Sure. In some shape or form. And yeah, I mean, some people just kind of open up, and I feel like sometimes alcohol is a catalyst to actually being your true self. Okay. So even though, like, I might be saying something that I otherwise wouldn't say in a normal platform, it is still a cerebral thought that's going in my head. Okay. And instead of having a filter for it, I'm just saying it.
Okay.
And that's what I've noticed in a lot of social dynamics, that alcohol is just a catalyst of being your true self and getting rid of a lot of jitters that you otherwise would held back.
I would want the jitters.
You want them?
I like awkward.
I mean, I don't mind awkward.
I want the awkward.
But I hate when people hold things back. Like, you want to come home with me. You want to say whatever. You want to do.
That's different, right?
But then you're sitting there like, so how you feeling? Good. Like, what? Let's have some conversation.
Okay. See, so I don't drink. I've had 20 mixed drinks my whole life.
20?
20. I have 20.
Wow.
That's for another episode. We'll talk about I know each one, what I had. And I only will have another mixed drink if it's something I haven't had before.
Oh, challenge accepted, Carmel.
Oh,
challenge accepted, Carmel.
Every time I bring this up, someone comes up with, I got 21 and 22.
Shit. I mean,
okay, long as it's something good. Like, I don't just, like, 20 was soju.
20 was soju.
Soju.
But that's not a mixed drink. That's just.
It's alcohol. I mean,
it's just the alcohol.
It's
a wine. It's a
is
Korean
it? Okay.
wine.
I don't know.
Yeah.
To me,
caramel.
that's my level of drinking. Is that soju to me was a mixed drink? I don't know.
So a tall black guy and a short Asian guy walk into a bar.
Oh,
like,
wow, it's on. Yeah, so I'm down for 21. But yeah,
that's cool.
So like I don't understand that whole dynamic and how that works with having drinks and dating on that. Because I feel like I want to be completely lucid when I'm talking to someone, and I want and if they're a drinker, whatever, doesn't matter to me. But I would like for them to be like sober because that's typically how they're going to be in a relationship. I would hope.
Right.
So.
And I think it's a definitely like a mix and choose, just like you know you have a preference in drinks or not to drink or preference in non-20 drinks, but you know what I mean. Like it's I think that's just a preference thing.
Sure,
it all depends. You know, I know for me, anytime I really liked the girl, wanted to get to know her. The San Diego Island, what it used to be is. And I feel like some women I've dated are gonna be on this like you never did this for me, but if I really liked you, we go out to dinner, get some wine, bring it back to the crib, smoke some hookah, chill and talk.
Okay.
You know, and I feel like those atmospheres, they just open up a lot more because they're comfortable and you're making them feel comfortable.
Sure.
Right? I'm not saying you should be drinking to be comfortable. I'm just saying that if you can, you know, feel comfortable enough where I offer you a drink and you take it as a gesture and you kind of just allow it to relax, then let that come to fruition naturally. Okay. You know?
So it's almost a byproduct of already being comfortable.
Of already being comfortable, right. But I feel like, you know, again, from a social dynamic as a man in that atmosphere, that's my job to make you feel comfortable. That's my responsibility. Okay. And if I'm like, hey, you know, hey, let's grab a drink, and like, no, like, all right, and mind you, you shouldn't be opening up with that. Yeah. That's the I think a lot of dudes do. Yeah, but that's common. You know, if I witnessing what I've witnessed and seeing what I've seen, I feel like anytime a man opens up with that, it just screams, I don't have personality. I have nothing interesting to say. Here's a means to just be of service to you. Yeah. And imagine if you're approaching that woman that's like gotten that offer 25,000 times, how are you going to stand out, bro? How are you going to stand out? Then again,
there's persistence again.
But I mean, what?
It works.
A guy's going to ask a woman, hey, do you want a drink? No? Okay. Hey, do you want a drink? No? Okay.
That's how I see it. Like, okay, that's I'm out, right? Some dudes, I don't know how it works. I don't. But see, that also brings in the topic of having game, right? You've heard that term for years. Right. You know, spitting game at a chick, Like, do you have to have game? Like, it's like, is having, because I don't like the term at all, because it sounds like it's like, again, the cat and mouse thing, like it's a competition, like, you know, who actually is winning in the situation. Like, having game, I don't know what, I've never understood that, like, why someone has to have game. Like, can you just be yourself, right? But a lot of dudes are like, no, like, you've got to put on airs for them. You got to act a certain way. You got to, like, you know, speak a certain way, whatever, or like, have like you got to go on like, bottle service. I got this, that, like almost like a show in order to attract that woman that you either want to be with or like you're trying to get after. Right. Oh, there's whole books written about it.
Interesting.
Like it's phenomenal. Like even like what's the movie that Will Smith was in where he's teaching guys? Was it Hitch?
Oh, Hitch.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like that's a thing where guys feel like I need to be taught, you know, how to speak a certain way, carry my certain self. But at the end of the movie, it's really just about being you.
But I think you can still be yourself and change your behavior based on how it is, you know? Because, you know, for example, I'm a huge extroverted, like telling jokes, things like that, right? Maybe one woman values laughing and these funny conversations, these funny punchlines, these dad jokes. I love dad jokes, by the way.
Yeah, right.
But maybe another one I'm talking about, even though I'm still a funny person, they're like more intellectual conversations and start going to there. Right. I mean, I've had women where I've liked and I've dated and I still was myself. I just expressed different qualities of myself based on who they are and conforming to who they are. Right. I'm not going to be like, I'm Alan, adjust to me. Right. No, you know, I think it's a personality thing. You got to figure out, you know, pieces of the puzzle. Like, well, if I really like this person, how do I still be myself to the point where I'm being genuine, but also not sacrificing my character to appeal to them and leading to them. And I feel like that's just our approach and how you should approach it. And if you at any point you feel like you're not being yourself, just stop, you know, the whole image thing.
I think a lot of guys go in and not being themselves. So that's,
it happens.
It's crazy to me, man. Like, but like, I also want to know, like, do women have game?
You know,
you think women have game? Like you think like
I
they
think
come
they
into
do.
a situation like with a plan,
right? And the guests that we have lined up for this, in lieu of this show,
speak on
one
it.
of my homegirls. I've talked to her a lot about this, and that's why she's going to be the guest of this episode in the woman's version.
Okay.
She has a very good dynamic perspective, and she's, from what I've seen, she has got game.
She got game. Okay.
She got game.
This will be fun.
Very subtle.
This will be fun.
Very articulated woman.
Okay.
Very smart. Very sexy, and I love her to death. And I can't wait to bring her on and have her talk about this and educate us.
This will be fun.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, cool,
right.
Cool. All right. Sweet, man.
All right.
All right.
Well, I think this wraps up our episode.
Yes, yes.
Thank you guys for joining us. Hope you guys have an amazing Friday.
Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Check us out.